NFL legends give serious warnings about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has been a force to reckon with in football since his remarkable 2019 season with LSU. His on-field prowess has led the Cincinnati Bengals, a small-market team, to the brink of a second consecutive Super Bowl appearance. Additionally, his charismatic personality off the field has won over fans and brands alike, making him a highly sought-after individual. Undeniably, the 26-year-old has a wide appeal, and NFL legends can't miss a thing or two to say about him. Let's start with Ross Tucker. Joe Burrow has drawn comparisons to plenty of former great quarterbacks. According to former offensive lineman and current NFL analyst Ross Tucker, Peyton Manning is the closest. I was on the sideline when the Bengals beat the Bills in the snow, and I'm just so impressed by that guy, Tucker said on the Bengals Booth podcast. He's the modern-day Peyton Manning. It felt like in that game against the Bills that he knew where he was going to throw the football before he even got the snap 90% of the time. He was getting rid of the ball within 2 seconds. I was just thoroughly impressed by Joe. Carson Palmer. Now ask anyone who they think is the best quarterback in the NFL, and you're likely to get a range of different opinions. Most people would probably say reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes, but there are others who might choose Josh Allen or Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow, just to name a few. One of the Burrow backers is former Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Carson Palmer. I think Joe is the best quarterback in the league, Palmer said during an appearance on the QB Room podcast. I know Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal, but I think Joe's more consistent. He's more consistent. He's more accountable to run the system and the play that's called and not feel like. Well, he didn't win last time and get open for me, so I'm going to do it with my feet. And then before you know it, you're sacked for 4 yards lost because you tried to make 2 or 3 guys miss. Joe is just, talk about not having a weakness, mentally strong, physically tough, accurate, can throw it far enough, fast enough, and get the ball out quick. And then he can actually do a lot with his legs. He just rarely shows it. I think he's as athletic outside the pocket and can do a lot of the same things Patrick Mahomes has done. He hasn't done it and showed it yet. He's played more within his system and style, but I think he's the best quarterback in the league. Phil Simms. Super Bowl winning quarterback and current CBS Sports NFL analyst Phil Simms never wastes any opportunity he gets to sing praise to Joe Burrow. When you watch Joe Burrow, you know what you're watching? The modern-day Joe Montana, Simms said on Inside NFL. He's smooth, he's athletic, and he's even got a little better arm. Sorry, Joe. But he's doing a lot of great things. Phil had an incredible career in the NFL, and even so, he agrees that Joe is way ahead of where he was. It's so above where I was probably ever in my career, Simms told Dan Horde and Dave Lapham. His whole thing about having that great feel, seeing the defense and really understanding the defense. He looks over the defense quick. He's already has a feel of where he's going to go, and then he can fix the next receiver so fast, which he did in college. When he's going to get hit and he knows there's trouble in the pocket, he immediately, before he falls apart, can find the outlet guy and just get rid of the football. Tom Brady. As you can imagine, there have been countless comparisons over these past few months between Brady and Burrow's. Burrow's demeanor, an intense competitor who is a great leader, is certainly reminiscent of Brady's demeanor as a young player, so it's understandable why the comparisons are being made. So Brady was asked about those comparisons late last year, and he gave a very Brady-like answer. He's done a great job, said Brady. He's a great young player. He's got a great arm, runs well, very athletic. I'm really impressed by him overcoming the adversities that he has. There were high expectations for him coming out, and he's lived up to it, said Brady. So a lot of credit to him, and their team's done a great job. They were in the Super Bowl last year. They're playing really well this year. Good defense, good offense, good special teams groups, well coached. It's going to be a tough game. Andrew Hawkins. NFL Network analyst and ex-Bengals receiver Andrew Hawkins didn't mince words while talking about Joe Burrow. I met Joe Burrow at the Combine, and he had on his Combine outfit. He didn't have any chain on. He didn't have a turtleneck on. He didn't have any Cartier frames or any designer on. And you could still feel that confidence. And I walked away from that interview saying to everyone, he's confident. Not fake confident, not bravado, not acting like he's something he's not, or trying to convince you he's confident. He's not trying to tell you that he doesn't care about certain things when he really does. He's genuinely a confident person. In himself, in his abilities. You can see it by the way he interacts with other people because he's so confident he doesn't have insecurities. He lifts people up. That's one person that no one on the team ever has to worry about. He's accountable. You know he's going to deliver. You know he's going to do his job if the opportunity presents itself. And that's special, especially for as young as he is. Michael Irvin. Even before he played a single NFL game, NFL Network analyst and Pro Football Hall of Fame receiver Michael Irvin had no doubts about Burrow's future in the NFL. I had an opportunity to talk with him, and I'm telling you, he won me over, Irvin said in 2020. Cincinnati, you can be optimistic that you have found the right quarterback. And let me tell you what I mean by the right quarterback. I felt like, honestly, he reminded me a lot of Troy Aikman when he was the first pick in Dallas. He's a guy that's mature beyond his years and can handle things. I'm not talking about being optimistic about going to the playoffs this year, but be optimistic that you have the right guy. It's so powerful when you have swagger at the quarterback position like Joe Burrow has it. It means you're the heart and soul of the team, and you see everybody gravitating towards you. This dude has the confidence that Cincinnati needed, and he made them believe long before they got to this stage with his play and his swag, Irvin says. Irvin also likened Joe to Troy Aikman. I played with a guy named Troy Aikman who had that kind of willpower, that kind of directness, and that kind of leadership, Irvin told the DA show. We're talking about the Cowboys, but remember, when Troy and I came in, we went through 3-13 and 1-5 seasons before we turned it around. That's exactly who Joe Burrow reminds me of, a guy who you knew when you picked him, sooner or later, he's going to help us win or make us win. Mark Sanchez. Heading to Super Bowl 56, the former Rose Bowl MVP was asked how Joe Burrow and the Bengals could slow down the pass rush of the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl. The former New York Jets quarterback explained that one of the keys would be to move Burrow's throwing position. I think part of it is going to be keeping that defensive line off balance. And the way you do that is you got to mix up your play calls and mix them consistently. So you want a quick game followed up by a deep play action, followed up by a movement like a naked, followed up by a drawback. So you're constantly changing the throwing position of the quarterback and changing up the timing. Sanchez then added, if this were to work, then the running backs and tight ends were the chip blockers, saying, and then, to do that, when you have those longer patterns and longer developing plays, you got to help inside with the halfbacks and with the tight ends. They got to help on the edges and interior. And basically, that just means on their check down route, they just got to get a piece of one of those rushers. I've had coaches say to running backs, get some rib meat, because basically, you got to go take a shot at their ribs and try to slow them down. And hopefully towards the end of the game, you wear those guys down a little bit and take a little speed off of them. Joe Montana. Former San Francisco 49ers star, Montana says Burrow is one of his favorite quarterbacks in the league. He's one of those guys that's fun to watch, and he should have been back in the Super Bowl again, says Montana. But my guess is he's going to find another way to get back here a few more times. Looking forward to watching him.